Hello, and thank you for clicking on my Destiny 2 Do-It-All Hunter build. This Hunter build is focused on solar, as that has had a massive buff this season. This build is all about creating explosions, giving us buffs, giving us teammates buffs, and dealing high damage. As you can see on the screen, we have Radiant, we have Frost Armor, we have Amplified, all at the same time, just by playing how you normally would in Destiny. This build is going to give us loads of buffs in the background, grant our teammates buffs, stun all champions, deal high damage. It does everything you would want a build to do in Destiny 2 early game and especially on late game. Getting into the build, we are using the Prismatic subclass, we are using the Stasis Super, we are using the Threaded Spike. This is to help us build our darkness meter on our Prismatic energy. Dustfield Grenade, this is going to stun overload champions as well as build up the darkness meter again. For the aspects, Gunpowder Gamble, we are using our ignitions to blow everything up. This is going to charge this up. We are going to have this on us constantly. You will be getting this every 10 seconds at least, and this will clear ads, this will deal high damage to bosses. It's just a brilliant thing for a solo build. Next up we have Ascension. This is going to be our core piece around this build. The core to this build is using our class ability. This means, so when we use that, we are going to be throwing stuff around us. We are going to become amplified. We're going to jolt nearby enemies. And we're also going to get overshield because of the new stat changes by using our class ability. For fragments, we have the Facet of Purpose. This means when we pick up an Orb of Power, we're going to get Frost Armor because we're using our Stasis Super. For Facet of Hope, when we have an elemental buff, we get our class ability quicker. As you've just seen, we're going to have Stasis, we're going to have Amplified, Radiant, Frost Armor, all simultaneously. So we're going to constantly have an elemental buff, meaning we constantly have class ability regeneration. For our third, we have Facet of Ruin. This is a Solar Ignition build. This makes some Solar Ignitions bigger and better. It also gives us a plus 10 to the new weapon stat. Facet of Protection. This is a go-to for any build. Just makes it so we have more damage resistance when we're overwhelmed. And then for Facet of Balance, rapidly defeating targets with light damage. Our Solar Ignitions will grant us melee energy, our Threaded Spike, so that we can get more darkness on that meter for our Transcendence. For our exotic chest piece, we are using the Gifted Conviction. This makes it so when we use our Ascension, we are going to throw arc explosives at nearby enemies that will jolt targets and damage targets. When you damage a nearby, or when you damage a jolted target, you're also going to do chain lightning to other targets. And it's also going to give us more damage resistance. So by using our Ascension, we are going to be able to overload or stun overload champions. We're going to grant Amplify to nearby allies. We're going to jolt targets around us. We're going to get more damage resistance. This is just a brilliant piece for any build really. For our weapons, I recommend a hand cannon because that gives us unstoppable stunning this season, or you can use a sidearm. It's entirely up to you. I'm a personal fan of the Malfeasance, but if you wanted to use one of the many powerful sidearms in the game now, that is more than fine. Our sidearm, our primary slot is just going to be a damage dealer really, because the main bulk of our build is going to be from our secondary. This, you need to have a incandescent weapon. I highly recommend a pulse rifle or scout rifle, as then we've covered all three champions. We've got unstoppable from a hand cannon or sidearm, and then we've got anti-barrier from a pulse rifle or scout rifle, and then we've got overload from our class ability or our stasis grenade. So that's all three dealt with. You can use any solar weapon as long as it has incandescent. Another good one is the No Hesitation Auto Rifle. It's good for helping out you and your team with health. Comes with incandescent. You can craft it to make the perfect one. Only problem is it's an auto rifle, so you're not going to get the benefits of having the anti-barrier rounds. There are other solar pulse and scout rifles with incandescent. You can use any of them. They will be perfect as a replacement for this build. I would highly recommend Nullify though, as it's craftable from one of the raids, and it comes with incandescent and it comes with Firefly that can both be enhanced. Pulse rifles also got a huge buff a while ago, so they are one of the stronger weapons in the game, and the Nullify is just a heavy hitter. It's just, to me, it's the best pulse rifle in the game. For our heavy, you will need a solar weapon again. This is a solar focused build, and that is for a reason. I personally use the Apex Predator as it comes with 2 rockets in the mag because of reconstruction. Also comes with explosive light. We're going to be picking up orbs in general from this build, making orbs from this build. That's going to make our rocket launcher better. A solar heavy is just highly recommended. In terms of our artifact, we're going to want the anti-barrier pulse and scout because we're using the pulse and scout rifle. Unstoppable sidearm and hand cannon. I recommend using a sidearm or hand cannon as your primary, and then choose any from the bottom 3, it doesn't matter. For the next column, I recommend Flame Fiber and Freeze and Diviner's Discount. This is going to give us more mods on our armor. The bottom 3 are all pretty pointless for this build unless you're using a scout rifle, in which case you could see some benefit from the bottom perk. For the third column, I recommend Fever and Chill. This is going to give us that constant radiant because we're going to get hit in precision hits with our solar weapons. And then I would recommend Frost Renewal. This means when we have Frost Armor, if we take critical damage, we will release a burst of freeze around us. And we are also going to give Frost Armor to our nearby allies. So this means that when we are using this build, we are going to give Frost Armor to our allies and also Amplified to our allies just by playing the game how you normally would. You don't have to change anything in your playstyle to really get the most out of this build. For the fourth column, I would use Cauterized Darkness. This means stasis or strand debuffed combatants take increased solar damage. We have our stasis grenade, our solar melee, so everything most of the time should be debuffed from one of these. And that means we can then swap to our solar heavy and create a lot of damage to champions or just anything that is not a boss. For the second in this slot, I would recommend Shoulder to Shoulder. This just gives us more damage resistance when stood near allies. Most of the time in in-game content, you're going to be stood near allies. This is also focused on precision damage. We're going to be using precision damage to get our radiant. It all just coincides with one another. Now, the most important perk you're going to see on this artifact is this one, which means when we defeat a scorched combatant, they are going to release solar projectiles that will go out and deal damage to other enemies and scorch them. So if you can imagine, you blow up one enemy with solar, they blow up, they release scorched projectiles that go out and blow up other stuff, they blow up, they release projectiles. This is just going to cause a massive chain reaction anywhere we look. For the second, I recommend Shield Crush. This just means when we have all our buffs, or some of our buffs, we're going to get better recharge for our melee and grenade. We're going to get melee charges from Frost Armor and grenade charge from Amplified or Radiant. We will have all of these buffs most of the time, so this is going to be constant regeneration for our abilities. For mods, for the head, I recommend Solar Siphon. Give us Orbs of Power, it's a solar build. For arms, anything to reduce your cooldowns by picking up Orbs of Power, or just anything to regenerate our abilities quicker is going to help. For chest, resistances, change them to whatever you're playing. For legs, again, picking up Orbs of Power gives us benefits such as health, recharge, health. For the cloak, Again, anything to help us regenerate our abilities quicker. So this is when using our melee, our class ability comes back quicker. Using our grenade, we get our class ability quicker. And then utility kickstart, I'm a personal fan of this, just means armor charges get consumed to give our class ability quicker again. Anything to recharge our abilities, or especially our class ability, is going to be beneficial, as the class ability is the main gameplay loop around this build. In terms of stats, Destiny went ahead and changed the stats this year to make it so it's just different, not really sure why. It's quite nice, it gives more benefits, makes stats a lot more important in the game. So I would recommend stat wise, you want to get your perks to over 100. As you can see at the bottom, you get an enhanced benefit if you go over 100, and this is we gain overshield when we use our class ability. Our class ability is the main gameplay loop. If we can get overshield every time we're using that, survivability is going to be a lot better. Another stat I would focus in would be weapons. This just makes it so we do more damage. Damage is key, just helps, you can't argue with it. If you can get over 100, you'll get the benefit of getting more rounds from ammo bricks, and you'll also deal more damage against bosses. Another one I would recommend is health. Health just helps with survivability. There's nothing to really argue against. If you can get over 100, that's ideal. If not, just try and buff up these other two. You might be asking why we're not focusing on melee and grenade. Well, we've got so much in this build to help our melee and grenade that these two, cutting a few seconds off our time, isn't going to help too much. We've got so much regen in this build, it just doesn't really matter about these. If you can get some points in them, again, helps, but do not focus these two. You might be wondering, well, your stats have a lot in grenade. Do not take these stats as numbers you should go for. I'm yet to adjust to the new stat system and hone my build towards this system. That is everything for this build. This build is king at endgame. It deals with everything. You will deal with every champion. You will deal with bosses easily. You will have your transcendency a lot. You will have your class ability a lot. Survivability, giving your teammates help by giving them buffs. It's just a brilliant build that I cannot recommend enough. It's so strong and it deals with everything. If you have any questions about this build, leave them down below. If you need any help with stats or understanding something in this build, again, leave it below. I'll help as much as I can. Thank you very much for watching.